Of the nucleon, and specifically that one of the neutron, because neutron proton is quasi the same. So the structure is the result of the functioning of the so-called mesotron, and the mesotron is also constituted by the whole mass and antimass. We will discuss that later. Put in motion to create the neutron in our space-time. Also, its functioning allows for the transformation of neutron into proton and the creation of other nuclei. As such, the mesotron is the intermediate particle between the nucleon and all nuclei. And the mesotron itself is issued from the Erzion particle through a process which will be presented. So to create isotopes of any element, it is necessary to pass through the stage of the Erzion particle. This process begins with the creation of the neutron and the proton, then the deuteron, etc. A chain of isotopes is created, etc. So it is a transmutation process which allows for the creation of all nuclei. And this transmutation process is put in motion by Erzion particles. Structure of the neutron. So the origin of my theory is a theory, and of course it has to be discussed, is the following. I was interested in binding energy, as you have already seen, and I tried to find a new structure of the neutron and also the proton instead of the present one. This has to be discussed, of course. I found the following. There is a structure with a trunk of 1,800 electrons and a lot of other particles. This you can see on the page I just gave you. You will see 18 times 100 plus a lot of other figures which are giving the mass of the neutron. This is my breakdown of the neutron. Next, please. Oh, yes, yes. Yeah.
Minus 1,800 electrons.
No, I say that the neutron, the breakdown, the structure, of the neutron I propose, it's a different one to that one with the normal the structure, the normal structure you see with the how do you call that? Yes, exactly. So my structure is that one. You can see on the pages I have just distributed, which is 1,800 electrons plus a certain number of electrons masses in order to give, let's say, the mass of the neutron, which you have on this paper.
What's about charge for because of 1,000 charge of the electron, very huge.
Yes.
What's the real?
So for the proton, you see, it is the same, but it's not. I have not now distributed it because I have only half an hour. So I'm sorry. It is.
Определяется нейтрон, масса нейтрона. На самом деле она сложная, состоит должна рассчитываться по этой формуле, в которой входит 1800 масс электрон. Я что-то ничего. Ну это правильно, 1840.
Это правильно.
1840 точно цифра.
1840 электронных масс.
Ну да, он считает, что они реально там существуют. То есть, а заряд тогда, вот заряд,
где написано?
Да вот у него структура, вот у него, значит, масса электрона, здесь вот, так сказать, электрон, 1800, минус 1800 масс электрон. Электроны реально существуют там, что ли?
No, it's not that. No.
1840
just
литературные данные.
Разница между массой протона и 1800 масс электрона.
Ну, у нас погрешность у него есть. 1840 везде существует.
These structures enables me to determine the binding energy of alpha particle. You see? And this I have already shown in this document 2 years ago. Okay. So, okay. Yes, I divided it in electron masses. If this is your question, yes, exactly. Yeah. So, once I have done that, I had to find a structure which was consistent with what I discovered. And this is the structure here. This is the calculation, very short, he said. This calculation you find here on the document. You can see.
Хотелось бы понять вообще новизну.
So, if now I calculate, I can see that according to my theory and hypothesis, of course, the neutron is divided in 1,800 electron masses plus these masses plus these masses. So is this. And if you calculate it, you can find a very close value of compared to the experimental value. So it's not here, but I have it somewhere. Just a moment, I give it to you. So the value I have found with this structure for the neutron mass is 939.544 MeV, which is very close to the experimental value. And for the magnetic moment, and this is new, I have calculated with this system the magnetic moment. I find minus, of course, 1.9130, etc. It is exactly the values which are experimental. So this gives me a certain hope that my theory could be discussed. Not that my theory is correct, but could be at minimum discussed.
It's not theory, it's
hypothesis.
Model. Он мой бы.
Yeah, hypothesis. Hypothesis. But okay, with this hypothesis, I find the figures I have just given. And the same for the proton. So it's true that this is completely different to what is normally accepted. I fully agree. Okay, next slide. How could I come to that value of the mass? Actually, for each mass of 100 electrons, there is the following progressive constitution. The neutron is constituted in a progressive way with +1 mass, -1 mass, etc. And if you find that, at the end you have a certain mass of the neutron. Of course, you can discuss what is mass, what is anti-mass. For me, the theory is that there is a mass coming into our space-time, or particle. Coming in that space-time, it is given a mass. And
здесь он уже вводит масса, антимасса,
and of course, if this particle disappears, the mass disappears also and is calculated, accounted as an anti-mass or minus.
What particles?
If a particle, for instance, electron is coming into our space-time, it has a mass of 1 electron. If this electron is disappearing again from the space-time, the mass is accounted as -1.
Пространство времени. Он, значит, вот появился, пропал, это минус. То есть что-то, статистика с этим самым, с мерцающим сохранением числа частичных.
Может быть, это переход из массы в волну и обратно?
Нет, нет.
Слова исчезает.
Слова нет ничего.
Он считается, что с вакуумом может быть взаимодействие, и тогда будет появляться...
На самом деле, как он получает здесь, он усредняет нуклон, который состоит из протона и нейтрона, поэтому вот идет игра на этих массе электрона. Вот ну, посмотрите.
Okay, this can be discussed, of course.
In Rush.
I haven't not said that the neutron has a lot of electrons, has a lot of electron masses. This is different.
Он говорит, что важно, чтобы вот избыток вот этой вот величины массы электрона, порядка массы электрона, они реальные.
Где избыток?
Либо избыток, либо недостаток, это масса электрона вот в его процессе. Это надо, чтобы проявлялись, но они не были связаны с реальным проявлением.
Нет, но у них 0,5 МЭВа, а эффект массы у трития и у гелия порядка 7-8 МЭВ.
You have to see, again we have, I have prepared a discussion later on mass and anti-mass, of course, and electromagnetism, etc. It's, of course, it's to discuss. All I have for me that with this system I find values which are very close to the experimental values.
What?
But I have just given. If I do like I say,
What values?
I have not the time to explain it in detail, but the values I have found for the neutron, the values for the neutron I have found in MEF is 939.544, which is a very good value. It's a very good value.
Between mass of neutron and mass of proton, it's differ about 2 mega electron volt.
Yes.
Such
Okay.
way, such must be so.
I just discuss here about neutron because I have no time to discuss with the proton. You see, if then we can discuss very long together.
Yes,
but
yes. Let's go.
let's go. That's next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. See, this is about electromagnetism. It's exactly the same system. I have no time now to develop, but it's exactly the same system as the mass, because electromagnetism, according to me, is mass plus anti-mass. Negative electromagnetism is mass plus anti-mass. Positive electromagnetism is anti-mass plus mass.
Думаешь, совпадают?
Не совпадает, это коррелирует между собой.
Next.
Two super exotics.
Надо же, чтобы мы
So there is another.
встретились, да?
There is another type of electromagnetism you will see, but it's comparable. You see, it explain this electromagnetism explain is a fractional quantum Hall effect.
Вот такой подход к электромагнетизму позволяет объяснить дробные холостные эффекты, которые недавно открылись.
Next slide, please.
Дробный, не первый.
Дробные заряды.
Не Erzion, а следующий вариант.
Yeah, okay, this next then, because I don't know, this figure is a bit curious.
Ну да, давай, следующий.
So this is now the schema of the neutron I have found. The neutron is divided in four.
Если вы поняли, что такое электромагнетизм, то все такое масса советская эффективна, плюс получится
Структура чего?
Okay, yeah.
нейтрон.
And then you have these figures, you see, I have found. Of course, you can discuss a lot, and it's exactly the purpose of the meeting to discuss. I do not say I am right. I just say I have found very good figures, correlated. Okay, could be wrong, but.
Такая комбинация позволяет рассчитать отрицательные заряды моментного момента нейтрона.
This is the figure of nuclear magneto I have found. This is quite clear, quite close to the experimental value.
Нейтронные протона?
No, for the proton I have not.
Позволяет ему считать электромагнитные свойства.
If you allow proton, it's next
В
year.
отличие от тебя, он числа, видишь, до 7-го знака посчитал. А ты сказал слова.
I cannot.
Не седьмой, отличие уже во втором знаке.
Весь уровень Аристотель сказал и все.
Okay, next slide then.
Он посчитал 7 знаков, а там 2 знака. Эффект.
Next slide is about the mesotron. You have seen that, according to my theory or according to my hypothesis, a lot of mass has disappeared. This mass plus anti-mass, then there is a disappearance of mass in the neutron. And this mass is has not really disappeared, it's just covered by anti-mass. Actually, the neutron has a mass which is higher than the mass we have measured, because there is a covering of anti-mass which is practically the same.
Anti-mass of what particle?
Always the same, one particle which is an
The same, right?
electron-like particle. A particle X.
What is an electron-like particle? It's an electron or
It's not
positron or some other.
It's not an electron, it's an electron which has only a mass and not a charge.
Вот.
То есть у него заряд нулевой, а масса это иксовая частица.
The charge, the electromagnetism,
Электромагнетизм отдельно, а вот масса отдельно.
Где такая частица без заряда
is
электрона?
added. Actually,
Мезотрон, он там в начале был.
Что такое мезотрон?
Масса электродов.
if I may use this pause, but
It is mesotron? Your mesotron?
no, I come down to the mesotron. The electron, as we know, or the positron, is a mass of one electron plus a charge, plus or minus. This charge, when it is a charge of minus, is mass plus antimass.
Plus what?
Mass plus antimass.
Antimass of what? What?
Of
What antimass?
this particle, electron-like particle.
What particle? What?
It's a particle. I call it particle X. You can call it as you wish. But yeah. Sorry. Mesotron. Then you can see that after my theory, of course, a lot of mass has disappeared. So next slide, please. And here I show the mass which has disappeared. You can see that it is, let's say, 100 times more or 99 times more than the mass which exists.
Окей. Это
Yeah.
Question.
Other conclusions is next slide then, or the next slide because you want to have conclusion. You see here, one notes after my theory that the mass which is not expressed any longer as mass is 100 times more important than the mass expressed. This is important in my theory. Actually, the neutron is much more heavy, or the electron is much more heavy than we measure. Because it's a condensation of mass plus antimass plus electromagnetism, etc.
And what we measured? What we measured?
We can only measure at present.
What?
We measure what we can measure. So
What value we measure in our experiments? What?
I cannot measure it, of course. I measure, like you, the neutron mass, the magnetic moment of the neutron. All this is comparable to the values which were measured. And then I come to next slide. I come to elementary particles. First of all, particle Z0. We can see that the particle Z0 has a mass which is equal to Z1. And this is
Intermediate method. Yes.
the Z0. Z0.
Yes. Weak interaction.
Z0 is equal to 1800 multiplied by 99. This is Z1. And in Jeff, it is 91 Jeff. In other terms, this mass, 1800 multiplied by 100, is equal to Z1, which is Z0, which is the mass of Z0, and the mass of the neutron. Okay. So the dark mass of the missing mass, etc., could be linked to that. Next slide. Higgs boson has a mass of 125, 126 Jeff. The same here. 1800 multiplied by 100 plus the others here. So, and this gives these values. There are two different values because two different values were determined either by Atlas or by CMS experiment. Atlas Z0 with addition of 1,800 E masses, trunk of the neutron. And the CMS has measured Z0 plus Z0 plus the addition of the 4 masses, etc. So you can see here a difference coming from that. These are the measurement of, let's say, of these two measurement of the Higgs bosons. You can calculate. You can determine. Okay. So next slide. Erzion particle. It is even higher. This is twice 1,800 masses plus the mesotron. If you calculate that, you come to 200 JeV. Erzion particle, you see, is linked to the functioning of the mesotron, and the mesotron, as I explained very rapidly, creates new neutrons or protons. This is my theory, of course. You can discuss it, but you see here you can find discussion mass anti-mass. So it's what I told. A particle is entering our space-time, acquires a mass. Leaving that space-time, this particle is lost. This mass is lost. Sorry. So a mass entering our space-time is accounted as positive, and the same mass leaving our space-time is accounted as negative. So there is a positive mass and a negative mass, all the rest is about what I explained. Let's say electromagnetism, etc. And all this is, according to me, the mechanism for creating new nuclei. Okay, so we can discuss if you want.
Значит, осталось мало у нас. Пожалуйста, вопросы.
Да. Can you explain me what is the main goal of maybe your model is mesotron? Yes.
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 Yes. The model is mesotron.
Okay. What is the particles? Bosons or fermions? And from what family is component?
Of course. This is about the discussion of mass and antimass. When one particle has a mass, it is of course
More simple. Meson or boson? Well, not meson. Fermion or boson? What is this particle?
The difference is when they have a mass or not a mass.
What?
The difference is when they have a mass.
Not difference. Mesotron. What is it? What is it? What particle it is? Or fermions or bosons? Can you explain?
Yes.
Very simple. Very simple.
Yes. For me,
This or this?
this is a boson.
Boson.
Yeah.
Intermediately boson on what boson? What boson? We know it is fundamental bosons or constructed bosons.
It's a constructed one, as I said.
Such as mesons.
Yes.
Mesons.
Yes.
From what particles this boson consists of?
This consists of several particles which have initially a mass like the electron.
Electron and positron. What? Simply.
Yes.
Concretely.
Concretely.
Yes.
Concretely.
What is it?
The mass of we have on the universe we can measure is the difference between a bigger mass and a slightly less big antimass. Actually,
Antimass, it's not particle.
yes, I
From
know.
what particles it consists of?
This an antimass.
Positron and electron and what?
This is prior to
Quark or antiquark or what? What?
exactly. This is exactly what I challenge. You see, I do not agree with that.
With what?
With this division of, let's say, as just you said. For me, there is a general process of creation of mass and decreation of mass, annihilation of mass.
В общем, у него вот взаимодействие с вакуумом, когда приходит масса, уходит масса, все позволено.
And you see that divided to fundamental fermions and bosons, it's not true. Yes, you see.
It's true. It's not fundamental.
You have another.
Слушай, он сказал, что он говорит, это правильно, но это не фундаментально.
Да бог с ним фундаментально. Есть деление, есть традиционное деление, за что получена куча Нобелевских.
Он говорит, что я придумал по-другому.
Вот я и спрашиваю, значит, он считает, что это неправильно. Неправильно. Вот
говорит правильно, но я, говорит, объясняю это.
Правильно, но неправильно.
У меня тоже аннигиляция происходит. Материальной и антиматериальной частей.
Это всегда происходит.
Ну и все.
Материя и антиматерия. Только что. Ага.
Electron has first a mass. And then?
I don't understand this. I don't understand.
Yeah, this is the point. This is the point.
What?
Afterwards, it acquires an electromagnetism.
Он говорит, есть масса, есть еще заряд. Вот я разделяю.
The mass and the electromagnetism of the electron are different things.
Совершенно разные вещи.
Заряд, it is not заряд.
Как
Electron is particle.
Экспериментально.
Electron is particles, it's not charge.
It's not the
Electron is not charge, it is particle with some charge, positive or negative.
Yes, exactly. So,
Yes.
so electron negative and electron positive are different.
Yes, it's different particles and antiparticles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have the same mass.
Он говорит, они имеют одну и ту же массу.
Yes. Yes. They have the same mass. Yes.
Заряд. Поэтому он считает, говорит, что вот одна масса, а электромагнетизм это вторично. Она может и то, и так, и
И
так.
плюс и минус.
Не, вот это ничего не понял.
Ну вот, по его предположению.
Electromagnetism is
Вот смотри, что такое электромагнетизм?
Совсем запутал.
Нет, он должен говорить, что электромагнетизм это есть вот взаимодействие массы и антимассы. Как у тебя?
according to my theory.
Ну правильно, аннигиляция. Annihilation.
Yes. And plus is
Ну ладно, it's not traditional physics. Yes.
yes, you are fully right.
Let's stop on it because you may create such many variants of your models.
Вот у меня.
Но он все перевел.
Is this true or not? Is this true?
У него все переведено на язык масс. То есть есть процесс.
Ну ладно. Ладно. Физика другая. Мы знаем физику другую, которую мы учили в школе нашей высшей.
You see? Come.
Да. А то, что там
Explain.
придумали люди сами, ну это бог с
Давайте
ними.
так, мы перебор.
Да, все, окей.
Перебор по
окей,
времени,
окей.
значит, мы формально
Нет, нормально.
заканчиваем.
После вовремя. Молодец, председатель, молодец.
лекцию заканчиваем, а дискуссию продолжаем уже вот за вечерним столом с вином. Без вина тут...